Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready for the event.
ACR, this is...
Station's ready for the event.
ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston ACR. How do you hear me?
Houston ACR, we have you loud and clear. How about us?
I have you loud and clear. Please stand by for opening remarks.
Welcome, everybody, to this very special event with Science Friday. I'm Ira Flato.
And I'm Flora Lichtman.
And I started Science Friday as a radio show to get people talking about science around the dinner table.
And we're excited to continue that mission, this time with the astronauts on the International Space Station.
That's right. So let's get this started. Let's go to that first question.
Hello, my name is Lucas. My question is, what are the primary scientific projects you are currently working on during your time at the International Space Station?
We have two major areas or thrusts of research right now. One is in the biological sciences, primarily centered on human physiology and human science. And then we have physical sciences, things dealing with combustion and crystal growth. Those are the major factors, the major thrusts right now on station.
Hi, my name is Rashil, and my question is, what is the most surprising experience you've had while living and working in the International Space Station, and how has it changed your perspective on Earth?
Wow, Rochelle, that'd be a hard question to answer with only one comment, because every day is different. Such the variety, looking out the window, different sights you see at different parts of the day and night cycle, hands in a microscience gravity workbox, doing science there, science throughout the space station. So you really cannot pick a single thing. It's all fascinating.
Hi, my name is Olivia. And my question is, what have you discovered about growing and preserving fresh produce while living on the International Space Station that could help solve the world insecurity crisis?
Well, we're doing all types of science with respect to food and growing food and how the root system draws in its nutrients, whether it's through the air or through water or both, and the humidity in there and everything else. So the science that we're doing here, we're doing now, the things we're learning certainly will be of great benefit across those arid places where things are difficult to grow. The more we learn, the better we get, and the more produce, obviously, that we can grow.
Hi, my name is Mary Kate, and my question is, what is the most challenging part about living and working in space?
For me, the most challenging part is dealing with a whole bunch of little tiny pieces of things, nuts and bolts and stuff like that. You open up a bag of vitamin pills and 10 of them float out when you only need one, and then you got to corral all the other vitamin pills. That's the most challenging part. Moving something as big as a refrigerator, that's easy. You can do that with your little finger.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn, and my question is, have you done any research at the International Space Station on CRISPR engineered plants to help them survive better in microgravity conditions?
I personally have not done any CRISPR work on space station. However, for this increment up here, our crew members have been working collectively on a series of genome experiments looking at microorganisms that have made their home on the International Space Station.
Hi, my name is Avery, and my question is, have y'all used aeroponics or hydroponics in space? And is there a difference in how plants absorb nutrients in microgravity?
We have done a series of experiments, both hydroponic and aeroponic. And by the way, a homework problem for the student is to look up the details between aeroponic and hydroponic plant growth. And we do this because we don't have a lot of dirt, like on Earth, we got a lot of dirt, and we have a lot of water, and when you're in space, you don't have dirt, and you have some water, and using aeroponics seems to be the preferred way of raising plants in an orbital environment.
Hi, my name is Isaac, and my question is, could you use live worms to help improve the nutrient quality of different planetary substrates? Do they survive on the International Space Station?
That's a good question. We, right now, don't have any worms on board the International Space Station. We have done science in the past. I don't know all the gory details of exactly all those, what's taking place there, but the science with worms is very valuable, and it is returning again at some point.
And I'm not sure what the nutritional aspect are of eating worms, but we'll save that for the next crew of astronauts on station.
Hi, my name is Ella. My question is, on the mission statement of the International Space Station, it says y'all are studying pharmaceutical manufacturing. How does being in space affect human medicine?
Yes, we do all types of colloid studies, and whether from toothpaste to body lotions and other things to help us understand better how to develop those. Like, for instance, myself, I don't mind sharing this. For some reason, and I'm not the only one, you get a little rash when you first get to space. We're not sure why. And those, what we're developing to understand those things and better help us back on Earth is an important part of the science that we do.
And we have research studies dealing with how effective are pharmaceuticals, standard pharmaceuticals that you might use on Earth. And when you get in a weightless environment, they don't seem to affect human physiology in the same way in terms of dosage and results. And so there's a number of studies dealing with that.
Hi, my name is Desmond. My question for you is, how much time do you spend on the special exercise equipment in space to keep your muscles growing normally?
Another good question. We spend a minimum of 2 hours a day. See how buff Don is getting. We have a resistive exercise device, also a bicycle, and also a treadmill where we put on a harness and strap us down so we can actually run as if we were on Earth. Very important. The fight against muscle atrophy and bone loss.
Hi, my name is Sammy, and my question is, what is the most beautiful thing you've seen from the International Space Station?
All of it. It's hard to pick out what is the most beautiful. And just last week, a surprise comet became very, very bright. Looking out the window of the cupola, and it's like, whoa, look at that. This comet, amazingly beautiful. And of course, we take pictures with them with the kind of camera equipment we have behind us here. So it's hard to say what is the most beautiful thing you see from space. It's kind of like choosing what is your favorite color or what is your favorite food. It depends on your mood, and it depends on the cuisine presented in front of you.
Hi, I am Ricky, and my question was, what do you do when there's an emergency in space?
Well, Ricky, we work with the ground very closely, and we simulate emergencies quite often. So if we actually have a real emergency, we know our procedures, we know exactly where to go and what steps to take. Again, coordinating with the ground all together to affect safety for all the crew members on the International Space Station.
I'm Isa. We is on the base.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Gutierrez, and Israel would like to know, what do you eat in space?
Well, we eat all types of food, just as if you were going camping, out of bags, rehydrated, and some of it meals ready to eat and that type of bags. And it's very, very tasty. Our food lab folks do a great job preparing the food for us.
And I eat all of it.
And he eats all of ours, too.
My name is Boston, and my question is, how does the space station have enough oxygen for astronauts to live there for months?
We have a machine that provides oxygen for us, and it takes electricity and water and makes hydrogen and oxygen. We breathe the oxygen, and we take the hydrogen, and we can combine that with carbon dioxide, and we end up making methane and recovering some more water from that. Really cool processes going on up here. Little chemical plants that provide us with the constituents we need in order to live and survive.
Hi, my name is Sophia, and my question is, do all astronauts sleep at the same time, or do they sleep in shifts?
Well, Sophia, we sleep all at the same time. Our clocks are set basically with GMT, about the time of London, Paris, that area of the world would be midnight there, would be midnight for us, and that's the cycle that we're on. We all sleep at the same time.
Hello, my name is Hadra Zahiri, and my question is, do you feel a force of gravity change as you get to escape velocity?
Yes and no. You feel large accelerations while your rocket engines are burning, and these are the rockets that blast you into space. But when the rocket engine cuts off, you are free floating and effectively weightless. We call that state microgravity.
Hi, my name is Kevin, and my question is, what type of training do you get for going to space?
Wow, Kevin, we would have a very, very long answer if we could talk for hours and hours about that. Everything you see on the space station, we understand bits and pieces of it. We have to know it. Emergency procedures, like we said. The spacecraft that we launch in and return in, we have to know everything about those as well. So the training is very involved, and it starts probably 2.5 years prior to when you actually launch and actually come here.
Hi, my name is Enral, and here's my question. Does your food have the water removed, and how would you store it?
Okay, our food comes in two basic packaging. One is freeze-dried, like camping food, and you have to add water to the package, and you kind of shake it up a little bit, and then yum, yum, you can cut it open and eat it. And the other, it comes already with water, and it's in a thermal stabilized pouch. Think of something like the way you get tuna fish in the grocery store now, or the juice bags, and you just cut that open and you eat it right out of the bag.
Hi, my name is Eleanor. My question is, how do you communicate with people on Earth from space?
Well, Eleanor, good question. We use satellites, and we bounce our communication signals, satellites that are 22,000 or so miles above the Earth's surface. So they bounce up there, back down to the network on Earth, just kind of like you do. You use the same satellites, maybe not the same satellites we do, but the ones in the similar positions.
And we are talking to you with this video signal from a satellite using these communications right now.
Hi, my name is Tyson. My question is, how does it affect your body when you go into space?
The body does do very many changes. They say, and you can kind of feel it a little bit, that your internal organs kind of shift up into your body a little bit, which is good because it makes you feel thinner. Also, goodness, there's so many, also 20-25% of the food we eat actually turns to gas, unless you're Don Pettit, maybe it's a little more. Good question.
And I'd like to add that we change the effective level of gravity by a factor of 1 million. That's what microgravity means. And you change any other environmental factor. Say you change temperature by 1 million. You'd be turned into a little carbon shard, a different kind of CRISPR. And the fact that human beings can go into space with a factor of 1 million change in gravity and still basically continue on, I find, is an amazing robustness that we as human beings have.
I'm Blake, and I was wondering how an astronaut would know if it was night or day in space.
All right, Blake, that's a good question. You know, we orbit the Earth every 90 minutes, so we get 16 sunrises and sunsets per day, per 24-hour period. But to regulate our body clocks, our circadian rhythm, we turn the lights off during the day inside the space station, and we turn it on during our waking hours. That's how we do it.
My name is Olivia, and my question is, how has your understanding of the universe changed since living on the International Space Station?
My understanding of the universe hasn't really changed. I can make observations, and then I have to think about them a bit and talk with other people and read books, and slowly my understanding of what's going around us can improve. Some of these observations are subtle, like the zodiacal light. It's the light scattered off basically construction debris when our solar system was built, and you can see it right before sunrise or right after sunset. It's hard to see on Earth, but on orbit you can see these kinds of details, and that is how my understanding of the universe slowly changes with time.
Hi, my name is Alegria. My question is, can you describe what the sunrise looks like when you're on the International Space Station?
Absolutely. When the sun just starts to come up, you get a blue strip across the horizon. And as it continues to get closer and closer to the horizon, you start to see the colors. Just like a prism breaks down the light, the atmosphere breaks down the white light into the various colors like a prism. And then it's just as the sun is peaking above the horizon, the entire International Space Station turns to an orange color for 5 or 6 seconds. It's pretty amazing. Wonderful to see.
And on Earth, because of Earth's rotation and orbit around the sun, it takes 2 minutes for the disk of the sun to slip below the horizon. On space station, because of our orbital velocity, it takes 7.5 seconds. So you can go from full daylight to full darkness in 7.5 seconds.
Hi, my name is Julieta. My question is, the view from space must be truly amazing. Which natural phenomena from space can you see from the International Space Station?
Well, there's all kinds of phenomenon that you can see from orbit on station. And one of my favorites is at nighttime, and it's called atmospheric air glow, because the atmosphere glows and it looks like a slice of key lime pie that's been laid on top of Earth, and it glows green, but sometimes it glows kind of an orangey red. Really, really neat. Atmospheric air glow.
Hi, my name is Lixi. My question is, how does it feel going up to space?
How does it feel going to space? Well, let me give you a quick demonstration. Like Superman.
So when you fly in space, you can fly. Butch flies like Superman. I fly like Peter Pan, because I could move around the room with much grace and skill.
That was great. You know, we love hearing curious people getting answers to their questions.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone who participated, and especially the crew of the International Space Station.
As I like to say, that's the show. We'll see you all next time.
Bye now. Sci-Fi is a great program to learn things on.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes our event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.